Dark Souls is what happens when you take the ideas behind old-school retro action RPGs and mix it with the tone and aesthetic of Berserk. And while the game absolutely deserves to be called a classic, that isn't to say it's perfect like some might lead you to believe. Dark Souls' story is both incredibly simple and complex. You play as the seemingly chosen undead, a soul who is set off on a journey to put the old king to peace, put an end to the seemingly endless sacrifice of life, and possibly save the world. But not all is as it seems, and you're thrown into a brutal struggle in a quest that might not be what you're led to believe it is. The game's cast is full of colorful, likable, and memorable characters that range from the most noble of heroes like Solaire to the most sinister of rogues with the likes of Patches and Lautrec, all of whom have a few things in common: hopes, dreams, and utterly tragic endings for all their stories. The gameplay loop of challenging and cleverly laid out levels and encounters, leading to unique and memorably tough bosses, is addictive enough, but then add in fun weapons and spells and you really have a key for success. Combat is a lot of fun usually. As while there are some annoying encounters, they aren't often enough to ruin the game. Bosses range from fun, challenging fights to annoying but manageable at worst. Fighting enemies is simple for the most part, with you either parrying your foes or just bluntly smashing them to bits, or a combination of both. And all the bosses are entirely doable on your first try, and if you do get stuck, there are always summons to help you out if need be. While not every level or boss is a winner, especially not with the likes of the painfully annoying, sadistic, and awful Crystal Cave, Tomb of the Giants, and Lost Izalith and the Bed of Chaos, it really is just the last third of the game that suffers heavily, as almost everything up to and a bit after on Orlando is fantastically crafted and realized as a world to explore and fight through. Not to forget the fantastic DLC, as all of its bosses and areas, although short, are really great. Visually, the remaster looks fantastic. The atmosphere and style are oppressive but still absolutely beautiful, and while it does have that 360 PS3 look to it, it actually adds to the charm. Every character and almost every boss is distinct visually and memorable looking. All the environments early on and their interconnected build is impressive on every level, and enemies all fit where they are put. The PS4 version of the remaster also runs at a buttery smooth 60 FPS with absolutely no issues. Dark Souls has always been lauded for excellent sound design, and for the most part this is true. The theater troupe-like performances for every character are overacted and played straight in tandem perfectly. The music, while often overused, is still really good, and all the sound effects are charmingly dated and of the console generation that this originally came out for. And with all that said, Dark Souls, despite a lackluster final third, is absolutely still a fantastic game. It's a blast to play, has just enough challenge to make you feel accomplished, and overall has an odd feeling of hope despite how truly depressing the atmosphere, themes, and everything else is. If you have never played Dark Souls, I absolutely recommend you give it a try. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider sharing with your friends and subscribing to the channel to see more. I want to give a huge thank you to not only the show's patrons, but also Orion Knight for doing up the art and rig of Punish Neat, Alexander for doing the show's intro theme, and my friend Alex for making the thumbnail design. Their social media and my Patreon will be linked in the description down below. If you have any comments, questions, or recommendations, leave them down below as I read and reply to everything. Until next time, this is Thierry Williamson signing off until the next video. See you guys!